right, so today we're talking about overhead, expenses, money that you have to pay out to be in business. And yes, all businesses have some form of overhead. That's just how it works. You have to pay to be in business. But the idea, what a business owner wants to do is to have a little amount of overhead and make a whole lot of money. Because if I make a whole lot of money and have a little to spend out, that means that I am getting a very beautiful profit. And profit is what determines, to me, how successful a business is. How much profits are you making? Not necessarily how much money you're making, but what do you keep out of the money that you make? You see, the gross or the top line, that's cool. It's great to have a nice gross. But if you make $1 million and you're spending $1 million, then you're just breaking even, right? The whole idea is to make X amount of dollars and spend less than that amount so that your profit margins are where you want them to be. Profit, profit, profit is the key. I don't know why people seem to think that it's an advantage to have overhead, to have expenses, money that you're paying out. No, that's not an advantage. That puts you in a worse position when it comes to profit. Now, yes, you have to have certain things to be in a trucking business. You have to have certain expenses to be a freight broker. But the idea is to keep those expenses at a minimum so that you can make more money. And of course, you can keep more money. Where did we ever come up with this idea that expenses, excessive expenses at that, are good? There is no good to me in excessive expenses. If you have things that you are paying for and those things are helping you to produce money, more money than you're actually spending on them, then that's something that you want to keep your eye on. That's something that you look at and say, hey, this is a good thing right here. But if you're spending money on items, if you're spending money on tools, and those tools aren't producing more money than you're paying for them, then you're operating at a loss. And I don't know about you, but at the end of the month, I want to make sure that I'm profiting every single month. And I mean good, solid profits to help my business continue to progress. Because we know that a business progresses when it's making money, when it's making more money than it's spending. If it is not, it has a problem. Right? A business that is not making money, a business that's not making profits is not paying you, the business owner. If you can't go in and make money out of the business, why would you spend your time in it? Right? Why would you go out every day and put all of your effort, all of your work when you're breaking even with the money? That just doesn't pass the common sense test, not the financial literacy test either. You wouldn't have in your mind that you want to just come into a business just to pay for expenses. That's not what you come in thinking, right? But somehow I've seen a lot of you adopt this mindset that it's okay to have just outrageous expenses. No, it's not about paying for the business. It's about making money on what it is that you're paying for. I hope you can get that and understand how important it is for you to manage your expenses, manage your overhead so that you're not in over your head, right? Because the one thing that I think is more important than anything else, when we really start to look at a business and we start to understand how it really works, we come to the understanding that overhead is that silent killer that can kill your business before you even get started. You think about it. If you have overhead and your business is not making enough money, especially as a freight broker, that's where we find ourselves when we first get started. You're not making a whole lot of money when you first get started because you're new. You have to build relationships. You have to learn the business. So while you are learning and building, the expenses are still going on. And those expenses have to come from your pocket. Right? So it just makes sense to keep those expenses low. Once you start making money, you can make upgrades to your technology. You can make upgrades to the different resources, different tools that you have so that you can perform your job better and make more money. But there will be a period of time that you want to keep those overhead expenses as low as possible. Truck drivers, it is not a badge of honor to say, hey, I have way more expenses than you. If you do, you might want to try and cut those expenses down, because when you cut the expenses down, you keep more of the money. The whole idea is, what do you keep? Not much how much you make on the top line. How much do you keep? How much do you save? How much do you invest of your money, out of the money that you're working for? How much of it works for you? Think about that. Think that over in your mind. When you look at your accounting, when you take a look at your accounts and you start looking at your expenses, your performance reports, and you look and you say, man, I'm doing relatively well. I'm making some really good money. I want you to rethink that. I want you to look at that and say, okay, yes, I'm making some good money, but here is how much I'm spending, and this is how much is left. Because what is left, that's for you, right? So if you have a very minimal amount left, or if you don't have anything left, you have a better management job to do. That's what I wanted to share with you today. I certainly hope this information has been helpful. If you want to learn more about the freight broker business, I'll leave a free link in the description. It's my 5-video series, and I titled it, How the Load Movement Process Works. Give you a chance to come into the office with me, and you can watch me as I move loads, talk to shippers and carriers to give you a better understanding of how the business works. And then if you're interested in learning more about how much it's going to cost you to start your own freight broker business, I'll leave a free video right here detailing exactly what those costs are. So until the next time, I wish you the very best in your life and business. See you all the way at the top of the mountain, because the bottom is much too crowded.